This video is going to show you how to use similar figures to find the corresponding parts for the sides and the angles. The first thing we need to look at is what are some definitions. Similar shapes have the same shape, but not necessarily the same size. So these two figures you see here, they're similar because they're the same type of triangle, but they're not the same size. So I want to highlight that. Similar shapes, they're the same shape, but not the same size. They could be, but they don't have to be. Then the other thing we want to look at, it says corresponding angles and corresponding sides are in the same position. So that means the angle that's up at the top when they're turned in the same direction is also up at the top. Or when I look at the letters, the way they're written, the first letter, it's in the same spot as the first letter. So then I know that they correspond that way as well. Then underneath it says this little symbol that's like a little wavy line, kind of looks like an eyebrow maybe. That means similar to. So in our figures today, we're going to be using this symbol because the sides and the angles that are similar to each other, we're going to connect them with this symbol. We're also going to color code the corresponding parts. So the last thing, this little symbol right here means the word similar to when you read it. Now, here is one way to organize the names of your shapes. So I have triangle ABC, so I would write it down. And then I have triangle DEF. I'm going to list the letters in the order that they have written them for me because that's the way they want them. First name, middle name, last name could be the initials of the triangle. So this first letter A, it matches up with the first letter in the second triangle. So A matches with D. I could underline them with the same letter or the same color. Then B matches with E because they're both second. And then C is going to match with F. Okay, I'm going to change this blue color. All right, and now I'm going to go over to my shapes. The order that they're written in, so A to B, is going to be one color. No matter where it's at, twisted or turned, it's going to be one color. So A to B, pick one of your colors. Before we keep going, you need 3 different colors, okay? A to B. Then when I look at my second shape, the first and second letter are D and F. So I'm going to put those down. I mean D and E, so sorry, D and E. D to E also needs to be the same color. And I color code them on my diagram. That way I know they go together. Then the second 2 letters, B and C, that would be choose a new color now, whatever color you want. B to C needs to be a second color. Then when you look in the name of the second triangle, the second and third letter are E and F. So I would write down E and F and then go color that the same color. Okay, then on the bottom I only have 2 left, which would also correspond with the first letter and the last letter. A to C is what you have left over. And A to C, well, let's see, I can put that underneath because I still have a little bit of space. Let's see. A and C are the first and last letters in the small triangle, and then D and then F, those are the first and last letter in the larger one, and I put them the same color. Now, if anybody asked me a question, all I would have to do is either go look at how I listed my letters, or I could come up here and look and see what colors match. Those pieces go together. So here's another little thing about definitions. Similar figures, when 2 figures are similar, here are things you need to know. The angles are equal. This is very, 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 very important. We're asked this question many times. They are equal, which means they are the exact same degrees. Angles are equal. And the sides, corresponding sides, they're not always the same length. They're just proportional. Sides are proportional. So that's not the same length, but similar. Okay, so now we have our first question that we're actually going to do together. My letters that are listed when you look at this question, it says use the symbol for the similar figures. So we are going to be using that little eyebrow wavy line. Use the symbol for similar figures to show how triangle RST is similar to triangle UVW. So again, I'm going to start with these letters because sometimes they twist the shapes and they're not in the same order. RST, UVW. So I'm going to list them out. RST. Then underneath it, I'm going to stack it. UVW. When I have these letters listed here together, I can easily see which pieces go together. R goes with U, S goes with V, T goes with W if I'm doing individual angles. If I do sides, I can do what I did just a moment ago. R is the first letter, S is the second letter. Those two can go together. Same order. RS is similar. So RS is similar. And then the first and second letter in the bigger triangle, UV, is what I would put down when I'm just making my list. And then I could come over and color it UV. Okay, then the second letter is S, third letter is T, so ST is what I'm going to use next. And that is similar to VW, second and third letter VW. So I'm always making a pattern. Then I can come up and color code those. S to T would be my new color now. And then in the same order, V to W would be the same color because they correspond. They're the second and third letters. Okay, then my last ones are all I have left. So the first letter is R, last letter T. R to T is going to be my last combination. And that corresponds with the first and last letter in the bigger one, U and W. And they need to stay in that order because that's the pattern. So R to T is your third color. And then U to W, same color so that they match. Okay, now my last thing, which we didn't talk about in the other slide, was corresponding angles. These are going to be equal. They're going to be the same size. So if we go back and take a look, R right here has the right angle. It's the first letter. When I come over and look at my big shape, U also has the right angle mark, and it's the first letter. Now these are equal, so I don't use the similar sign, I use the equal sign. R, angle R, so I'm going to put a little slanted angle line, kind of like a less than sign. That's our angle sign. Angle R is equal to angle U. Then if I go look at the S, it had a 53 in it. It was the second letter in the name. When I look at the big triangle, V has a 53, and it's also the second letter in the name. So I would say angle S, back up, angle S is equal to angle V. And then my last one up at the top, T was the third letter. It has a 37 in it. W is also the last letter in the name. It has a 37 in it. So that means angle T equals angle W. Our last example is, it doesn't have the letters listed, okay? So there's no name up here for me to look at to know what order to go in. And the shapes are twisted. They're not going in the same direction. So what I have to look for now are these little rings that are inside the angles. So it tells me angle 1 has 1 loop, angle 2 has 2 loops, and angle 3 has 3 loops. So that's how now I can write the name of this triangle. R had 1 loop, S had 2 loops, and T had 3 loops. Now I just go find the same pattern in this larger triangle below. U had 1 loop, so it's going to go first. V has 2 loops, so it's going second. And W had 3 loops, so it's going to go last. Now, we don't always use these same letters, R, S, T, and U, V, W. I know the last example had the same letters, but we don't always use those, okay? Now, I can color code my triangle and put these together. My first and second letter, R and S, I can put together. R and S are similar. I'm on sides. They're similar to the first and second letter in this triangle, which are U and V. U and V. Now I could go color those. R to S, first and second, are the same as U and V, which are first and second. Then my next 2 letters, S and T, second and third letter, they're similar to V and W, which is the second and third letter in the big triangle. My last combination would be my first and last letter, R and T. R and T is similar to U and W because that's the first and last letter. So those would be my third color combination. R to T is the same as or similar to U to W. Okay, now I can go list my angles as well. All I need to do is look at how I've ordered them, or I could compare how many rings were inside the angles. If they had the measurements again, I could just go find the matching numbers, but this time it doesn't. So first 2 letters, R and U, go together. So I'm going to say angle R. Remember, angles are equal. They are exactly the same. Angle R is equal to angle U. The second and letter in both triangles, S and V. So that tells me angle S equal, not similar, but equal to angle V. And then my last combination is T and W. So I would come down here and say angle T perfectly equal to angle W.